Hey guys, what's up? Jake here with On the Rise Music. Today, instead of doing just interviews, the On the Rise team has decided to mix it up a little bit, and we wanted to start a little segment called Jake's Takes. Essentially, what that is, I'll just be going over my opinion on all things music, fashion, and pretty much pop culture. So for today's episode, I'll be going over my top 10 songs of June 2020. I'm a huge hip hop and rap fan, so my songs will be much more geared towards a hip hop rap audience. So let's get started. So my number, in no particular order, I just decided that I would go with "Hard Times" by 42 Dugg. He is a new signee to Lil Baby's album and record label. He's out of Detroit. He's this specific song I chose. I mean, his music just in general has a real bouncy Detroit feel, almost like T Grizzly. I mean, he has some of the same producers as T Grizzly too, so it honestly makes sense. But he has a very like Detroit sound because obviously that's where he's from. But on top of that, it sounds very similar to the West Coast bounce. And "Hard Times" is one of those songs that you just listen, or that when I listen to it, I get the sense that he's just trying to have a good time. And basically he's like what he says is hard times don't last, which is perfect. I mean, given the climate that we're in, and everything going on socially. So yeah, I just be bumping "Hard Times" when I'm either working out, I'm just hanging out. But yeah, just remind me that hard times don't last, that we're gonna get through it and all of us are gonna be okay in the end. Next song that I have on the list is "Make It Rain" from the late great Pop Smoke. R.I.P. to the GOAT, the young GOAT. I remember I first started getting into Pop Smoke around the time, I think it was when Jack Boys dropped. That was a great album too. Shout out Jack Boys. I mean, the first three songs were, but after that it kind of got great. And I played that album. Jeez. Oh man, from like basically January till played it all of January till I learned about Tame Impala, and then I just started listening to Tame Impala a lot, and now I'm just a huge Tame Impala stan. Shout out Kevin Parker and shout out all the stuff he's been doing with Tame Impala. Tame Impala is a huge inspiration. Anyways, but yeah, I got really big into Pop Smoke when Jack Boys came out because he had Gotti. And can I say "Pop and Forget the Smoke"? Like, you can't. That's a classic bar. Like, he literally, like, I can't. He made me not able to say "Pop and Forget the Smoke." Like, literally, like whenever I hear people say "Pop," I have to say "Smoke" no matter what. Like, I know it's kind of goofy, but I mean, it's his like dying wish. So rest in peace, a young goat. But "Make It Rain" is a crazy song because it was made, unfortunately, after he passed. And it has, what was really interesting about the song is that he has a verse with Rowdy Rebel. And what's really cool about this verse is that not only is Rowdy Rebel able to like spit a bar, but he's able to do it over a prison phone. Like, listening to it initially, I was like, it's like okay, like I don't know. I listened to a lot of, like, everyone's gonna make fun of me and call me like try hard or whatever, but I basically listened to like a ton of leaked music. I know that's gonna get me in trouble somewhere down the line, but I listened to a lot of Pop Smoke leaks because his music just leaks out of nowhere. And I was kind of expecting some stuff similar to what I heard, but it was a little bit different, and it took me a couple days and a couple listens to get around to it. But what really sold me was Rowdy Rebel's flow in the song. He not only is he like doing it over a prison phone, which is that's that's hard. That's fucking hard. Like, if he's spitting bars, he's on beat with everything, and just like the sound of being on a phone and him speaking through the phone over like a microphone and putting over the beat is just insane. It's almost like it's helping enhance the feel and the grit of the song, and it's just like good. It's really good. And it really pumped me up for the album. The album came out. I'm gonna put that on my I'm gonna put the album on the July 2020 video. But basically, yeah, the song got me so pumped up for the album. I listened to it nonstop for like all of last week, getting ready for the album. I listened to it like when I work out. I listened to whenever. Like, Pop Smoke is just, I knew his potential like back in January, back in February, my friend and I, Cole, shout out to Cole, great, my roommate sophomore year of college, just a great friend of mine. It's like a brother to me. Went to high school together and everything. Him and I were just listening to Pop Smoke, just feeding each other, giving each other ideas of Pop Smoke, and we just like hyped him up super hard. And I'm really happy that he's getting that Pop Smoke is getting the attention that he deserves now, with this latest album. And it just sucks that no one was able to, or that no one recognized like his potential and his star power when he was alive, like myself and Cole did. But I mean, honestly, people are starting to people give credit where credit is due eventually, and I'm glad he's getting it now. I just really wish that he was alive to see it, like to see everything come into fruition. Basically, rest in peace, the goat. I I really still just listen to his music like, fuck, like how, like I'm just, I don't get it. Like it sucks when it happened and everything. I didn't believe it. Like the same with Juice World, same with Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, Juice. Like it's just so sudden, and it like whole Kobe Bryant thing still doesn't sit with me. Like I don't know. It just I can't stomach it. It just doesn't even feel real. Same with Juice World. Like I love Juice World. Juice World. Some of his like leaked music and unreleased music is like so good. And in my opinion, I know this is a little bit of a hot take, but I think he goes a little bit harder in his leaked music. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ain't Living Right is crazy. Mannequin Challenge is crazy. Those are the two songs where I listen to Juice World and I'm like, dude, this would have been like, you would have been like, just, I mean, like, yeah, you were like one of the biggest artists that was just on when you were just doing music. But like you were doing something crazy with like Mannequin Challenge and with Ain't Living Right. And that's what I feel like in some of your unreleased music, some of his unreleased music. But yeah, when Pop Smoke passed away, that was a crazy day. It still hasn't hit me. Like bro is just like he was my age, and it just scares me. Same with Juice WRLD is my age, and it just scares me. Senseless violence and senseless drug consumption, unfortunately. But I mean, I'm not here to cast stones. So, all right, next song, "Wash Us in Blood." That came out literally the last day of June. So I'm just gonna consider it just a June track. Oh, I mean, technically, I have been listening to it. Like I listened to it a week before it came out again because I just be on my leak shit. But yeah, I was listening to that, and I was reading some of the comments on like the leak, and it was basically saying like, oh, this is Kanye like with Yeezus, this is Kanye with Jesus is King, but it's like all together now, and like I was really interested when I read. I didn't listen to it first because I was like a little scared because some of Kanye leaks. Like the thing about Kanye is that when a song doesn't release, there's probably a reason why it didn't release. A lot of them are just like ad lib tracks where the reference, excuse me, they're the reference tracks, which means that he freestyles over them, but some of the words aren't really words. It's just gibberish. Like one of my favorite of his unreleased tracks, one like it definitely is one of my favorite songs like ever, is the song "Last Name." It was a slave name, last name, slave name. It was supposed to come out with Yandi, but it never released because Yandi never released. But I heard it back in October, and it didn't really hit me that it was a reference track because I was just like, yo, this beat, the production is insane. Um, and that's what sold me. It was the Mike Dean guitar riff, like everything about it was just insane. And I was the more and more I listened to it, the more I got familiar with the words and everything. And I was paying attention, and he's like one of the songs he goes, or one of the verses, he says, saint, or no, not there. He goes, summon them, I'm giving them my slave name. No, I'm giving up my slave name. Like he just mumbles. And I was a little skeptical going into Wash Us in Blood because I was afraid it was just going to be mumbling and everything. Although I am a huge Kanye fan. Shout out to Kanye. As a matter of fact, I've been wearing these bad boys for about like the last month, maybe just straight. Um, excuse me. I'm a huge Kanye fan. So I was like, I don't like, I love Kanye, but like, I kind of need like some Kanye. Like, I need him to just spit or something. And when I was listening to the Washes in Blood leak, there's a couple parts where he's like bumbling, but for the most part, he's saying bars, he's spitting stuff out, and It was good. It was really good. It was a lot different from the actual song that came out. I mean, granted, there was no Travis Scott on the leak, and it was a little bit different. And there wasn't a Ronnie J tag. Shout out Ronnie J. Ronnie J also worked on Hurricane, or not. Excuse me, not Hurricane. Uh, Storm, or After the Storm. After the storm is gone. That was what he took. He had that song, but he mixed it differently and cut it up and sampled it differently for Jesus is King. That was another great album. I mean, he really. I mean, granted, I went to like, geez, like he really made me listen to gospel music for like a month and a half, and I'm still listening to it today. So, but yeah, Wash Us in Blood is definitely a great track. It's really different. It gives you that Yeezus vibe, and Yeezus is honestly one of Kanye's most slept on albums. In my opinion, he pushes the envelope and the boundary of music production that had been known to that point, and no one gave him any credit. And what was really interesting about that, though, is that there was an article, I can't remember what newspaper, I think it was New York Times, but they were basically saying that all he wanted to do with this album was make you have a reaction with Yeezus, of course, because he wanted to just make you have a reaction. And he did. A lot of people reacted negatively to it. A small amount of people, there's another group of people that reacted positively to it. There's a lot of people that were just like, this is good, but I just don't get it. And like, honestly, I was in that group because I was pretty young when the album came out. But listening to it over the last like 2 years, I've really began to appreciate the album, and seeing those elements within Wash Us in Blood, and even within a little bit within Jesus is King, is really interesting, because you see him draw from when he knew. That was when he was most confident in stuff. I mean, he's most confident in everything, but he was so sure about himself in Yeezus. It was just insane. And watching him do that and reincorporating it into Wash Us in Blood, but seeing him do it in a more understood and professional way, because he's been doing this for like, I mean, Yeezus came out when, 2013? He's been doing it for like 5 years, the same exact music production. Not the same exact, but he understands what he's going for. Is really interesting, and it's like a breath of fresh air, because it's not something you hear all the time. And Kanye's the GOAT, and he knows what he's doing. I mean, let's go off on a tangent here, and let's talk about his presidential candidacy for this upcoming election. I'm gonna be very honest with you. He's not gonna make a great politician. Like, let's be real, people. I'm a huge Kanye fan. I will vouch for him for everything. I will fight for him for everything. I will tell people who don't understand his stuff that it's okay, that's the point. Even if they're calling me like just a bunch of names, calling me like ignorant, and just being like a Kanye just stan. Like, of course, like I don't even care if you call me a dick rider. Like, Kanye is just Kanye, bro. But like, for the most part, this presidential candidacy, it's not gonna work. Like, it's just like, he mentioned he would do it, and he's doing it. But don't, like, if you're really considering voting for him, I'm sorry, I love Kanye West and everything, but yeah, just pick a real politician. If I'm being completely honest, he's just doing it just to get attention. I mean, Kanye's done this all the time. Like, he probably says he means it, and I mean no harm to Kanye West or the West family or anything, because I love Kanye West, and Kanye has been an important part in who I am as a person, and he's formed me and given me the type of confidence that I was looking for when I was like in high school and everything. And even when I'm going through some crazy stuff, I just always throw on some Kanye, because it's like that confidence and that like charisma that he has about who he is as a person, and his fashion and his music and everything that he does creatively is just so inspiring. But he's a creative, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but he's just a creative. He's not a politician. So we should appreciate that he's doing what he said he was going to do, but let's keep it to the politicians. Unfortunately, I love you though, Kanye. Seriously, like, you're my inspiration, and like a lot of stuff that I do. Excuse me. Our next song on the list is Demons. I know that album came out in May, and that was part of Drake's mixtape, or not mixtape, but like small album. But personally, I fell in love with Demons. Excuse me. I fell in love with Demons when it was Dark Lane demo tape. That's what it's called. I fell in love with Demons when he first teased it in that video that Ian Connor posted on Twitter. where they were at the party and Drake was mixing, and then it was like Sosa, Favi, like, and then like whatever the line is. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't want to butcher it on the video. But and then it switches into Pain 1993. I also had that song back in January, although it was just a hook, but it played over and over again. But yeah, that Demons is crazy. Like, it was really insane to me to, because when let's be real, when Scorpion came out, I was not a huge fan. That was when Kanye came out with Yay. That was when Pusha T dropped that diss track, the son of Adonis. And that whole summer, I was just like, yo, fuck Drake. Like, bro, I know I fucked with Drake when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. Like More Life was hard, whatever. But like, Drake's a pop star. Like, he's not a real rapper, blah, blah, blah. But having the roommate that I had sophomore year, Cole, shout out to Cole again, I was able to understand Scorpion more. And I started looking at his albums differently because Cole's a music producer. Like, he does hip hop, he does rap. His stuff is insane. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm trying to get Cole on the rise, and hopefully we can make that happen. Young Cafa, that's his name. But yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of Scorpion. I was just like, this kind of sucks. Like, he's trying to be too cool for. He's just trying too hard. He was just trying way too hard to be cool. But the more I listened to it, and the more I understood it, I was able to get that he understands that there are movements in music, and he picks up on it. And like what I got from what I got from More Life is like a summer vibe, like a real chill, like obviously because it's a lot more dance hall inspired. It's a lot more pop, like pop, yeah, pop inspired, to say the least. But there are some good rap songs on there and hip hop songs on there. But for the most part, it's just a summer vibe. Like, it's just like it's real light. It's airy. You're just trying to chill. You're trying to have a good time. So I really fucked with that, and I still do fuck with it. It's one of his. It's a great album. However, when he came out with Scorpion, that was when everyone was clowning him, calling it, like, saying like, oh, he's got a ghostwriter, blah blah blah. And I was just like, damn, like, it's just not, the stuff's not authentic, and it just kind of like I just got a sour taste in my mouth, like thinking about Drake and everything. But living with Cole, shout out to Cole, that sophomore year of college, he really got me onto Scorpion, and I saw Scorpion, and I understood that there was a different vibe. It was more so like he was like a boss, and he was like a mafia boss, and he was just like no one can fuck with me, like I'm the GOAT, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And looking back at it now, hindsight's 2020. I got that, like, I'm starting to get that vibe and that energy that he was putting out on the album. So when he moved on to Dark Lane demo tapes, it was really interesting, because the whole thing now is drill music. I mean, rest in peace, the GOAT, Pop Smoke. He really put New York drill. I mean, granted, there was Bobby Shmurda, who like walked so Pop Smoke can run. Rowdy Rebel. There's Fivio Foreign. There's Pop Smoke, and there's countless other drill rappers out of New York. But for the most part, that's what he tried to embody in this album. Personally, I call it the sicko Drake, because he's hanging out a ton with Ian Connor. He was doing stuff with Ian Connor, Playboi Carti. He was hanging out with like all those like slime rappers, Young Thug, all those people. And it was like an attitude that they had, and that the New York drill rappers had, that he kind of embodied for Dark Lane demo. And Demons is like the epitome of that. Like Fivio Foreign's voice on there, Sosa's voice on there, like something about New York drill rappers' voice and like their accent from being from New York or wherever, like whatever like little neighborhood they're from. Not like, it's just, it's insane. Like it adds a different flair to the song and to the music, and it's really fun to listen to. And that's literally what happened on Demons. I mean, you see Drake, like he says, drunk so I type jitem, drunk so I type jitem, but I don't hit send. Like, that's typical Drake, but it's on a song where you have New York drill rappers who are like literally about what they're talking about. And it's insane. Like, I mean, granted, the album does go into a little bit how Drake like realized, like, oh, I'm not a gangster. Like in From Florida with Love. Also, I heard that song like months before it released. Don't tell anybody though. but yeah, that song, he says, he said, I don't remember the line exactly, but basically he's like, I had to realize I wasn't a gangster, blah blah blah, like whatever. So like it's really interesting to see like him realize that, but also be able to collaborate with like real gangsta artists and like Fivio and Sosa, and they just killed that song, straight bodied it. So that's my opinion on that. That's my take on that. My next song is a song that my friend Young Cafa, Cole, as I mentioned earlier, put out. I mean, it's a little bit of a favoritism because I am on it. But it wasn't so much that. It's just this kid, like he's a great friend of mine. He's like a brother to me, and his determination and his like foresight with music, and like he looks at stuff that no one else would look at. He's put me on to stuff that I've never even listened, I've never even heard of. His beats are just like crazy. They're super ahead of everything, super experimental, and I really fuck with it because it feels authentic, and I know it's coming from him. If I hear a beat that he's making, I'm like I'm more than positive that it's going to be something huge. But he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, honestly, and it's kind of frustrating. But I mean, he's just living. He doesn't really care. So, but these two songs, it was part of like a short little mixtape. Um, it was called, one of them was Big Chungus, self-titled. That was the name I went under for the for the tape. But Big Chungus was just self-titled freestyle, and then Boyeeband, which is something that we came out with. We recorded Big Chungus when we were sophomores, when we were rooming together. Um, back my sophomore year of college, his freshman year, and then we recorded Boyeeband, excuse me, this past year, this past academic year, and for me, I think the songs are really good. I think I just I don't know. I was just kind of going. So my bars are kind of funny. I mean, they're hard, but they're kind of funny. But Cole can rap. Cole's a really smart kid, and he can freestyle really well. So that it makes the song a lot more fun. And knowing how we made the songs, and the energy that we did, like just the fun that we were having creating that. That's why those two songs are like, I count them as one because they came on the same tape. But those two songs, they're really good, and it's just like an energy. It just brings me back to a time when it was like when it was fun, like before all this shit that's been happening in the world, unfortunately. I mean, it's been like it's always been happening, but I mean before it, like before we got with COVID, before like all the like Black Lives Matter, like all for it, like I'm here for that. Like I've been saying that this shit has been happening forever, and no one's been listening to me. But I'm so glad that Black Lives Matter is getting the traction that they need. But like, yeah, before everything got super serious and heavy, that was when we recorded these songs, and it was just really fun. And I like to look at the past and just remember the fun times. So like this is those two that I consider a single track. Those are two songs that I definitely play back, and I'm like, yeah, that was fun. All right, on my next song that I chose was "Aim for the Moon" by the late and great Pop Smoke, rest in peace, the goat, and by Quavo, with featuring Quavo. Here's the thing though, because I put it on June 2020, I had it as a leak. um, yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's just I'm just that much like, it's not that I feel like I have to be better than people. It's just that I love music so much that I burn out what I'm listening to, like that's already been released. So I will literally just I'll literally kill, like I'll break the toy, but before like anyone else has played with it. And it's a blessing and a curse because that means I get to memorize the music really quickly, but it's a curse because I'm like, oh, I kind of killed it for myself. But that wasn't the case with Aim for the Moon because I got it as a leak. And it was I think it was like a week or two or a week and a half before the actual album came out. Um, but it was good. It was really good. And personally, I mean, we're all noticing, and many articles and many videos have been published on YouTube talking about how people think that Quavo and like just the Migos as a collective has fallen off, which I mean it has. Culture was their best album. Culture 2 was, it was good, but they were riding the wave too much. And these last couple releases, I mean, Offset is an insane rapper by himself. It's a solo career. I love Offset. 100 Racks, like that song is crazy. And Big Rocks and like just Offset leaks are just insane. Boulder Crest with Playboi Carti, I mean, that's never coming out. That's a leak. That's a crazy song. But I think that was a song that got me into Offset. But going back to Aim for the Moon, Quavo, his flow is so monotonous and uniform that it works perfectly on any Pop Smoke song. Just like the song Shake the Room, like dude goes insane on there. Dude goes insane on Aim for the Moon. Dude also goes insane on Snitchin'. Like Quavo needs to just start doing New York drill type music. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing that well. He's rapping, his flows and everything on that is insane. So yeah, I was listening to Aim for the Moon a couple weeks before the album, or a couple weeks or a couple days. I can't remember the exact day that I got it. But yeah, that's one of my top songs just because of, I mean, Pop Smoke embodies a crazy energy, and then he adds Quavo on top, who embodies another. It's just crazy vibes, and I just really fuck with it. So next song is We Paid. Again, another well, it's a feature of 42 Dugg, but I mean 42 Dugg's on the song nonetheless. And it's a Lil Baby song from his most recent album. But what's interesting about Lil Baby is I remember back in 2018 when my friends were putting me on to Yes Indeed, and like it's not that he was a small rapper, but he didn't have the same like or he wasn't as critically acclaimed as he is now and as big as he is now. So it's crazy. Like I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was like, dude, it's like Baby is one of the biggest artists right now. Like not Da Baby, but Lil Baby. I could talk about the Baby on another episode because I'm not much of a fan of his, but that's besides the point. But Lil Baby is like huge. He's like one of the top artists right now. I think he has like his album is like top 10, probably even top 5, and he's just going crazy. He's just killing the game, and like it's crazy to see. Like he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't. I mean, my streams, they like me listening to his music like does like a fraction of a dollar for him. But regardless, like it's crazy to see that he went from being like a small rapper, getting a huge feature with Drake, and then just like blowing up and having one of the top albums of 2020. And it's like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me because I remember when he was so small, and it still doesn't hit me that this dude is just huge. But like shout out to him. We Paid is an insane song. And I would definitely recommend checking that one out. If you don't check out any of these songs on here, just check out We Paid. And then, so my next song is from a white guy, a white rapper. I mean, that shouldn't have anything to do with it, but he kind of plays that card a little bit more than typical rappers. I don't know if anyone is familiar, but on Twitter a couple months ago, I think it was in May, he released his project at the beginning of June. But on Twitter in May, there was a video of a guy, like this white kid, and he was rapping, and they were saying like, oh, this is like Times New Roman like flow, because bro talks in like such like a white voice. He said, or what was one of the bars? He said, that bitch got 30 bodies. That bitch got dirty bodies, but you went on the date. Something I don't remember. But bro goes crazy. But he talks in such like a proper like white voice, and it's just like it's funny, but he's spitting like bro is going. And the song Immaculate, which is that song from the video that I was talking about on Twitter, it's featured with BasedNas, who's his manager, and he's like a good friend of his. But both of them body it. Immaculate is insane. I mean, his album, his name is Since 99. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but his album that he dropped recently is just, oh my god, it's fucking insane. It's like it's real. Like it's like I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, I don't really want to listen to this. Like there's so much other music out that like why would I listen to this? And I was like, dude, because nothing's like it. Like I've never heard any white dude rap like that. Like it's not that he's not even trying too hard. He knows who he is, and he's being wholly 100% authentic, and that's what he's rapping. I mean, granted, it is like he is talking about like trapping and everything, which is really funny the way that the voice works with his lyrics and his flow and everything. But bro is great. Like bro is gonna pop. I already know it. I mean, he was on Desus and Miro. Granted, they were just like clowning him a little bit, but they gave him props. Like they were like, yo, dude can spit. So keep an eye out for Since 99. Definitely take a listen to Immaculate. Um, my next song is yet another leak. I had to put leaks on here because, like, honestly, I'm just trying to say what I listen to. I mean, you guys can check it out too. Just look them up on YouTube. They're definitely on YouTube. Is the song "High as Us." It's a Youngbands song featuring Playboi Carti, and rumor has it, Band spent a pretty penny to get a Carti feature. So he's pretty pissed off that it leaked. Um, I don't know when it was supposed to drop though. I didn't do much research behind that, but I'm a huge Youngbands song and a huge Playboi Carti song. Like I remember back when I was a freshman in college, it was like 3 years ago. I was listening to excuse me. I don't know what made me and compelled me to check out um, Young Bands, but one day I was just like chilling in my dorm and I was like, Young Bands, I'm gonna look him up, and I started listening to him. And I saw him in concert too after he came out with Young Bands Volume 5. That was so much fun. One of the best concerts I've been to. It was super intimate. It was over at the I think it was the Roxy in Hollywood or the Play. I don't remember. I think it was the Roxy. It was the Roxy, and it was super intimate. It was no bigger than like, it was a tiny ass stage. It was like super close. Like dude was not that high off the ground from the fans and everything. So, and like Cold Game Kelv was there. That's the Brother Nature. That was insane. Like him and I caught eye contact a couple times and we were just like, yo, that was so much fun. And dude was super chill. But yeah, that Young Bands concert was insane. So like ever since then, like I've just been like, yo, Young Bands is like a goat. Like bro's gonna be like one of the faces of Atlanta rap, one of the faces of Atlanta trap, whatever. Like he's gonna blow. And like he's been modeling for Aleeks. He's been like good friends with Matthew W. Williams, who's the creator and founder of Aleek Studio. And yeah, he dripping out in Prada, Rick Owens, like dude knows his stuff. And Young Bands, like he's good. So when I saw that High as Us dropped and it was Playboi Carti feature, I had to have that. So I was just like, you're high as us, like the baby Carti voice. I mean, that was super cringe. Sorry about that. But like the baby Carti voice and everything, everyone says it's played and everything, but I mean, it's difficult. Some songs with baby Carti, like they pop off. But I do see and I do understand, because I like to see both sides of the argument. I do see how it can be annoying and just played out because he has been doing it over and over again. But I mean, personally, I fuck with it. Anything that Carti puts out for the most part, I'm gonna bang. Um, but yeah, I just like High as Us is crazy, and if you get the opportunity to look it up on YouTube, High as Us, Young Bands, Playboi Carti. It's a great song. Um, but yeah, he's Young Bands has been doing big things in the game, and we're just waiting on that whole lot of red. Seriously, like the Carti Reddit is just, oh man, there's a lot of hurt fans. But hey, they keep coming back every Thursday, being like, whole lot of red, whole lot of red. Like, nah, man, like just take it easy. That shit ain't dropping. But yeah, take a look at High as Us on YouTube. Last song, last but not least, and again, like I said at the beginning of the video, in no particular order, is Big Simba by one of our guests, Quezy. I've listened to a lot of different like Atlanta. I listen to like a lot of rap. I like to call myself, I like to consider myself a rap connoisseur, hip hop connoisseur. Not so much old music. Like I definitely wish that I got into older music, but I don't know. It's just not really my style. It's just not really my taste. I respect it, but it's just I don't really bump it often. But I do consider myself like a connoisseur of like rap and hip hop. One of my friends, we're gonna have him on the show on Wednesday, or our next coming show. Finn, his producer name is Sir Charles. He calls me the vibe curator because I can like just read the room and like I know a lot of different like artists and songs that a lot of people don't really know. So I just be throwing them on, like putting people on. So he calls me the vibe curator. But yeah, listening to this song by Quezy, Big Simba, I was really impressed. I was really impressed too about how young he is and how sure he is of himself, and his music, and talking to him, getting to know him a little bit better, and just knowing that he's not going to be in the same place that he is when we interviewed him within a couple of years. He knows he's going to push through. He knows he's going to make it. And I have that trust in him too. Like in order for, and if an artist has that and they're so sure of themselves, I mean, a lot of artists do, but to have that determination and to be that sure of yourself is just super inspiring. And I mean, he's pushing me to like be my best when it comes to like designing stuff, and to just like when it comes to just like wanting to be a better person, and to get where I want to be in the future. But Big Simba is a crazy song. And he was on the show talking about how he came out with it. And it was really interesting. He said that it wasn't like, he didn't feel like it was going to be a great song. And he wrote the first two verses or the first two lines, and he just wasn't feeling it. And he took a break from it, came back a couple months later, I believe. And he just like came out with it. He just made it, and he was like, I don't really know how the song's going to be. Put it out. And now he's got like 100K plus like listens on SoundCloud. Like I think like 80 something K plus listens on Spotify, and I'm sure he's just running up numbers like by the like on the daily. So that's one of my that's one of my top songs that I've been playing and I've just been bumping. And yeah, I'm really impressed, and I'm really excited to see what that kid has for us in the future. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming out and listening to me ramble a little bit about hip hop music and my favorite songs of the past month. Look forward to seeing us more. Don't forget to like and subscribe for On the Rise Music, and turn on notifications so you can get an idea of when we will be having our next guest. Appreciate you guys coming out, and hope you have a great day. Peace.